All right, welcome Falcons to our first eSchool morning meeting. It is the 14th of April, 2020. It is actually the 13th of April today as we record this, with the snow still falling and making for a beautiful Monday morning. We are going to get started with some of our usual traditions. So I'm just going to say good morning, and I want to hear really solid, enthusiastic Tuesday morning good mornings. All right, so good morning, DSST!
Good morning!
All right, and we are here today for some cool stuff in our morning meeting, and we're going to get to it shortly. So first, just some announcements. One, as a reminder, morning advisory is 5 days a week, Mondays through Fridays at 9 a.m. And so we excited to see you guys all 5 days of the week, first thing in the morning. And then we also have advisory lunch on Tuesday and Friday. So make sure your calendars are updated for that. Second, as a reminder, you heard yesterday in your morning news, but the critical incident process that we've always had is so important and still the same. And so our eSchool is just as welcoming of a community as our in real life school. And so please use that process if you are witness to or experience a critical incident in our virtual eSchool community. And the third announcement, OMG, I'm so excited to share. Miss Peterson is happy and healthy, and her baby boy, Amos Rule, is absolutely so cute. If you can't already tell how cute this kid is, here's a little bit of more of a close-up. And then, of course, just to really zero in on that little face, look at how cute that little kid is. Oh, my goodness. Those lips, newborns, love them. All right, we're going to move on to our objectives, and our objectives for this morning are Falcons will be able to learn about Mr. Franz, Miss Etheridge, Dr. Butler, and Mr. Leva's connection to the food they eat, and Falcon advisories will be able to debate and choose which breakfast is the most delicious. So let's get started with that. First, we're going to talk to our participants about food, then we're going to share the dishes, and then you will decide. So to start, Miss Etheridge, would you read for us this quote from Winona LaDuke?
Food for us comes from our relatives, whether they have wings or fins or roots. This is how we consider food. Food has a culture. It has a history. It has a story. It has relationship.
I love this quote, and I'd love for us to start by framing what we are going to present by talking a little bit about our relationship to the food that we prepare. And what stories and histories does the food that we prepare tell us about us? And so, Mr. Leva, would you start us off by sharing your answer to this question?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for me, food means a lot because I cooked professionally for 13 years before becoming a teacher. It was a way for me to pay for college and for me to make a living. But food represents traditions, it represents communities. The food that I'm going to be presenting today ties up to my grandma who passed away. And so this food means a lot to me, and this is why food's so important to me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leva. Dr. Butler, would you share?
Sure. Hi, good morning, Falcons. I grew up in a house where food was not something that you were passionate about. It came from a can or from a drive-through a lot of times. But my dad was a firefighter, and food is really important in the firehouse. If any of you are interested in being a firefighter, you know they cook for each other, and learning how to cook there was really important. And so I learned from my dad a little bit as he learned how to become a good cook, and then also worked in restaurants. Not as a cook like Mr. Leva, but I definitely developed a passion there. And so now I love exploring and making all kinds of different food.
Thank you so much, Dr. Butler. Miss Etheridge, would you share?
Yeah, so food and cooking has always been a part of my life. I just pulled this picture off of my refrigerator. It's a young Miss Etheridge and my mom. My mom was a stay-at-home mom for a long time, taking care of me and my older brother, and food was a way that she would express her care. She'd always make things that were different and new. She liked to experiment in the kitchen, which is kind of how I cook as well. So I'm really excited to share a concoction of some of my favorite things for breakfast today.
Thank you so much. And I will be the next and final person to share. So for me, when I think about growing up, my mom would never say she knows how to cook. She was very, very humble about that, and doesn't take a lot of pride in it. It's not a big deal for her. But what my parent and my dad doesn't cook a lot, but what my parents definitely did do is instill in me like the love for fresh fruit and vegetables. So much so that by the time I was in college, I just wanted to be I wanted to be immersed in a place where I could grow and have really, really the most fresh food in the world. And so I started working on farms in the summers, and that really became a huge part of who I am as a person. And as a farmer, you're inundated with food. You have so much food, you're throwing it away, frankly, and composting it. So you always have as much as you want, and you always have the freshest, and you also don't have a lot of time to cook it. So I've always preferred like simple presentation of the freshest stuff. And so that informs what you're about to see me share as well. And so now I'd like us to go, I'll go off of this projecting. Well, actually, no. First, I would like to hear, I'd like advisors in a second to pause the video and share, what did you just hear that you relate to? So what amongst did we share about our relationship to food as an advisee that do you relate to and want to resonate with, and just share in the chat box now by just writing, this is what resonated with me, or this is what I could really relate to from what I heard Mr. Leyva, Dr. Butler, Ms. Etheridge, and Mr. Franz sharing. And advisors, you'll pause it, facilitate as much discussion as you want, and then unpause it when you're done, and we'll be back to show you our food. Okay, advisors and Falcons, welcome back. We are about to share our food. And so maybe perhaps going in reverse order, I will share first. So I'm going to stop projecting and show you what I have. And so over here in my kitchen, what we have is we have leftovers from the weekend. And so you'll see there's some trout with veggies here. Can you guys all see that pretty well? We got some spinach. We got some asparagus and tomatoes, which are all being heated up. And then I like to just crack an egg. Whoops. Crack an egg right in the middle, maybe two. I'll add some salt and pepper. I'll keep cooking this and maybe show you after everyone has shared what it looks like when it's done. But I like to cook my eggs over medium. And then, of course, I have some toast over here that I will enjoy it with. And so, in summary, we have spinach, trout, asparagus, tomatoes, and eggs, a couple fried eggs in the middle. And that's my delicious breakfast. I'll kick it over to Miss Etheridge.
Hey guys, Mr. Franz and I are on the same wavelength this morning a little bit. I also have made some veggies and eggs. So here I've got some Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes, and some chicken sausage with one egg in the middle. I like to really use spices and seasonings. If you've ever been down to my office or seen me eat lunch, hot sauce is a core component of my food. So I'm going to top with some hot sauce. I seasoned with some everything but the bagel seasoning, delicious on everything, and some red chili pepper flakes. And if I'm feeling sassy, which I might be on this Monday morning, I'm going to toss some Parmesan on there as well. So looking forward to my breakfast, and hope you pick me to be the best dish of the day. Passing it on over to Dr. Butler, I think.
Good morning, everybody. So I was thinking about what I could make this morning that's both fun and delicious. And one of the things that I learned from a friend is to do something called an egg in a basket or toad in a hole. There's all kinds of ways to call this. And so what I did, you can see, let's see, can you see in my pan? There you go. I took a big piece of sourdough bread and I cut out a hole from the middle. I decided to make my hole into the shape of a heart today. And then I went ahead and cooked that egg right in the middle there. And so I'm going to scoop that up right onto my plate. Over here with an avocado, I put some salt and pepper on it and I have that with a nice cup of coffee. I'm very excited about my breakfast this morning.
Nice. Good luck to you,
All
Dr.
right,
Butler.
Falcons. I don't know if you guys can see this, but here's my breakfast. I cook 2 fried eggs, potatoes, and refried beans like my grandma used to make them. And something that I started doing through the 3 weeks that we have quote unquote off is I learned how to make homemade tortillas like my grandma used to make them. And so I called my mom, I video chatted people, and I started asking questions. So I started doing that just because my grandma passed away about 10 years ago, and that's something that like I want to be connected to her. Something else that I have is habanero hot sauce that my mom taught me how to cook a while back. So I'm very excited about to have some eggs, some beans, some potatoes with green chili that I made last night because I was feeling green chili, so I made some green chili last night and some habanero hot sauce. Hope you pick me.
All right, so let's show everybody our dishes all at once so they can have like a simultaneous visual. We definitely followed the like cook your breakfast theme this morning. So I, Dr. Butler, a little higher. There we go. All right. Miss Etheridge just a little bit higher. All right, so there's your Falcon meals to choose from. And I hope you learned a few things or got some ideas about how you can make breakfast a really special meal. And I'm going to just prompt you for one. In a second, please be ready to share in your chat box what you saw as the most delicious and why, and be ready to debate. And we'll see. I'd love to hear some results about which advisories chose what. And before you do that, just as a reminder, the announcements. Advisory is Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. in the morning. Critical incident process is exactly the same. Feel free to email Miss Peterson a congratulations about baby Amos. And otherwise, have a great Tuesday, Falcons, and answer this question with your advisor, and they'll lead you through the rest of the meeting. Let's all say bye to our Falcons. Bye-bye. Now let's all enjoy.
Have a great week.
Now let's all enjoy our breakfasts.
Yeah.
You have to tell me.